Good morning and welcome to Echelon Orchid. And thank you for joining me for some Sunday coffee. And it's quite funny because I just put on the wrong intro. So already this morning it's starting off on the right foot, wrong foot. I don't know. But regardless, it is Sunday coffee. It's great to be back doing this again on at least 2 weeks in a row. I'm gonna try and get some ones in during the week at some point. But today what's really been on my mind is I've heard quite a few people. I don't want to use the word complain, so we'll just say talk about how others at work were promoted and they weren't. And a lot of people would say, well, what are you doing to be better? They want to put it back on the individual. And I used to think that was 100% correct. Hey, clap for the person that got promoted. And I still think you should clap for the person that got promoted. I think the difference here now is I've started to see a trend in that it's not 100% the employee, which leads me to this premise that if it's not 100% the employee, then what is the employer doing? And this is where I'd like to talk a little bit about, well, who has your best interest at heart? Does your family? I don't know that your family always does. There's always a bit of animosity amongst siblings, even sometimes between parent and child, cousins, you name it. There's always some animosity, and they don't always want the best for you. They may say it, but really pay attention to people's actions. Actions will always speak much louder than words, because if you really mean something to them, they will try to contribute in your success, and they will take zero credit for it. And I think that's the big thing there. They're not looking to take credit for your success. They're happy for your success. They don't ask you for things because of your success. They genuinely want to spend time with you, regardless of whether you're making it big or you're down on your luck. Well, so if your family doesn't always have your best interest, then what about your friends? Your friends say a lot about who you are. Because if I know nothing about you, but I know your friends, and your friends aren't that great of people, I'm going to automatically jump to the conclusion that you too are also not that good of a person. Be on the lookout for those that say they're your friend. They may be a wolf in sheep's clothing. I was having a conversation with one of my jujitsu coaches, and he talked about the reason why he got into martial arts was because every day going home from school, he was being bullied and beaten up by this guy. And then every day he would take a different route home. And he couldn't understand how this bully always figured it out. And he goes, well, it was his best friend that was telling him. It's definitely not a friend. But I think a lot of times those that say they're your friend, they're really not. They're a friend of convenience. So, because again, just like I mentioned with the family, friends want you to be successful. Friends are not always just going to take your side. They're going to, at least they should, tell you, hey, I don't think you've got this right. They don't take sides in any, so to speak, relationship unless you're asking them to take a side. You want friends that are going to be like, hey, I love you, but you don't got this one right. I got your back, but I think you need to take a look at this. Most friends will help join in the misery, pig piling. You're down, and it's your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your kids, your employer, and they just pig pile. You're right. That person's no good. That employer, they don't deserve you. That's not helpful. If you're looking for, company, misery loves company, so to speak, then okay, sure. But that doesn't help you get to where you should be. Now, what about your employer? Should your employer have your best interest at heart? Again, I would say the majority do not, which is going to be the main topic of this show for today, which really is the person who should have your best interest at heart is yourself. You. You have to be looking at how you're going to be better a year from now. And this is why I say, as part of this title of the show, don't slay the dragon. And I'm not meaning this in a manner of, well, should I not perform as well as I should? Absolutely. You should always put in your best effort. But that doesn't mean you should necessarily go above and beyond for anyone other than yourself and your, chosen people, your spouse, your significant other, your kids. Maybe you should go above and beyond there when it's deserved, but you have to go above and beyond for yourself now. And that's a very difficult thing to do because we've been taught that our employer is gonna take care of us. But we've seen through COVID, this is just not true. They're not going to just take care of you. You have to take care of yourself. So I'm gonna unwind this a little bit here. How many employers do you believe really have their employees' best interest at heart? There's a lot of people that say that, hey, a company's biggest asset is their employee. I find that to be a wrong way to look at it. Employees are things to, um, well, helps to make the company profit. And this is where we get into the real issue. Your employer, most employers, and that's one that I don't know what number. So pick a number. Let's because no matter what number we pick in terms of the percentage of employers out there that really care about their employees, we're both probably wrong. But I'm going to say that 90% of the companies in the world do not have your best interest at heart. 90%. And I'm probably still wrong. It's probably higher. I wish it was lower, but I don't think it is. So the reason why your employer does not have your best interest at heart is because they need you to be efficient with your job. They don't want you to acquire new skills. They don't want you to get better, except to be more efficient at your current job. Now you'd be saying, Dan, why? That's crazy. Why would they not want to? Because then they got to replace you. Or you're going to get promoted and it's a token promotion where you get a title change and you're doing more work for a little bit more pay, but you're also doing the same work you were doing before. So now you're burnt out. That's not good either. But if you get promoted, then it's because one of two things happen, typically, right? Let's stay in the generalities. Your manager left or your lead left, and now you're the person taking that spot, and you're taking that spot because it's less money for the employer than it would be for to go out on the open market, and you're already kind of trained up. So now they're going to backfill your position, probably also at a lower rate of pay, and you're going to train that newer person. So it's a win for the employer when a manager leaves if they promote from within. They're not paying market rate. They may pay market rate for that more junior position, but probably not. They'll probably look to hire it with a more junior level than where you were because you're going to help train that person. So I don't believe employers really, again, I'm saying 90%. And it's an overwhelming majority of employers. I have been seeing this for quite a while. And I used to believe that it just wasn't the case. I used to believe that no, that if you hard work is going to pay off. Well, it will, just not where you currently work. And that's disturbing to me because it's not the way I operate. It's not the way a lot of people I know operate, but those are individuals, not companies. I've talked about previously on my show that everyone that works for me must perform on the job, being paid during that 40-hour work week, 2 hours a week of professional development. I'd like it to be more than that. And I was rereading through some notes that I had taken before, and I come to find out that, the premise where this started was from Google's 20% rule. And then as I was going through my notes, I was reminded that Marissa Mayer, who was a former CEO of Yahoo, who was a high-level executive at Google as well, said it's more like the 120% rule. You see, Google made it appear as if they had your best interest at heart. They're like, "Look, this is great. This 20% rule, things came out of this like the AdSense network, Google News, and you name the particular project. All of that benefited Google. It did, and Google's stockholders didn't really benefit the individuals that worked on those things. I mean, maybe they got a little bit more money, but what did they sacrifice for that? And the reason why Marissa Mayer is talking and saying this 120%, because she said, no, you still had to do all of your regular job. They just wanted you to do additional 20% working on some passion project because it was good for you. Yeah, it was good for Google. So where am I going with this? I'm going to be doing an experiment with some people here, and I going back to my notes, good leaders ensure that their people have proper professional development and are getting the training that they so desire, and those things are great. But I'm reminded that exceptional leaders invest in the whole person. It can't just be about your day to day. You want your people to truly be better. It's okay that they're going to leave. They should leave. The baby bird's got to leave the nest at some point. Encourage that. Support that. There's only so far up they can go in any organization. So the experiment that I'm going to be doing is that I'm also looking for my people to invest in themselves personally. So I've allotted some time during their work week that I want them to work on themselves. Not necessarily just professionally, but maybe and it's not take a day off of work. I want to know what it is they're doing. Um, is it that they're what I don't, it doesn't matter to me what it is. Maybe they're working on a new diet. Maybe they're trying to perfect a new, home skill or what have you. And the whole reason for this is that you've got to be more than what you are today. If we're going to make it 10 years from now, a year from now, a month from now. When you start acquiring any new skill, I believe it helps to amplify the current ones you already have. And those personal skills, whether it be cooking, I mean, anything, I think it's going to help you in your professional life as well. Now, you might be thinking, ah, why would you ever want to do that? Well, again, I just go right back to you got to invest in the whole person. I don't like using this word work-life balance. Everything balances out, and that's just I feel that that is just a really bad way of saying any of those things. Everything balances out. I'm looking at this as I need your personal life to feel really good. So when you come into work, you feel really good about slaying that dragon. And let's be honest, you're doing that for me. So I only feel it's appropriate that I invest back into you, not just from the knowledge that I have, but making sure you're able to develop other life skills because it's not just about our day to day at work. This is absolutely self serving, hopefully mutually, because I know I'm never going to get 40 hours of productivity out of anyone at work. So I think the stat is something like 23 hours of productivity a work week or something along those lines. Could probably look that up and I'll try to remember. So I want to maximize that 23 hours, but what if I could actually get 30 hours? Because you feel so good about coming in, working, with me, for me, however you want to say it. But because of that, I gained an additional 7 hours a week because you feel great. You're coming in every day invigorated. And I've always said this to people, because I've been accused at times of manipulating people, and my response is, "How is it manipulation if I tell you exactly what I'm going to do for you, and I tell you what it's going to do for me?" It's a negotiation. We've agreed to this social contract. I'm investing into you, and in return, let's be honest, you're slaying those dragons and made me look good. But you know what really made me look good? Is that I keep investing in you. That's what I say to the people that, that I'm honored with and charged with, leading. They make me look great, but I 100% give credit where credit's due. If they came up with the idea, they're the ones that get 100% of the credit. They pitched those ideas. I help fine tune them, but it's their idea. I'm not looking to take anything away from them. I wanna be known for 2 things: being amazing at putting the right people in the right place to succeed and just making really good decisions. I think I'm better at the at putting people in places to succeed than I am at making good decisions. So, let's get back into, well, why do I want to develop all these skills? And one, it's kinda hard to develop some skills, right? Well, I don't know. I don't know how hard it is. I've been, reading a lot of, Josh Kaufman. He has this book called, The First 20 Hours. So, I haven't finished this book. I plan on it this week, and maybe I'll dive into more of that. If I finish the book, I'll dive into it more next Sunday, and we'll talk about that for, you know, 25, 30 minutes or so. But the basic premise is this: you can acquire a skill at a novice level with 20 hours of dedicated effort. But the premise still exists that in order to master a skill, you need to have performed 10,000 hours of dedicated effort. 10,000 hours is a lot of hours. I mean, if we just broke that out and if you did nothing, nothing all day for a year, let's see, because this is live, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, 365 times 24. Yeah. In 1 year, there's not even that many hours. And that's if you did nothing. Like you didn't sleep, you didn't eat, you didn't do anything. There's only 8,760 hours in a year. So Josh's premise is that who's got time for that? And he believes you can expedite ways of achieving. Well, I don't really know if he gets into mastery of a skill and far less time than that. But that's the idea. And this is where I get to. a premise of specialist versus generalist. Which do you wanna be? And I'm going to argue that your answer should be to be a generalist. You might be going, "No, no, that's horrible. What about this whole saying, a jack of all trades, but a master of none?" I'm not sure if many people know where that phrase came from. So based on my research, the phrase came from this individual that worked in the theater, and he would work on costumes, he would work with the actors, he would work with every facet of the theater, and they began to tell him he was a jack of all trades, and I would say to anyone, based on if this particular urban legend is correct, even if it's not, there's probably some truth to it, be William Shakespeare, because that's who that was about. And to finish the quote, it was, "A jack of all trades, but a master of none is still better than a master of one." See, if you could do a lot of different things, you're extremely valuable. And those skills are going to allow you to keep picking up new skills. And I happen to believe this is very similar to those that pick up new foreign languages. Like if you already speak 3 languages, how much more difficult is it to pick up a 4th? It's easy. You understand how to do these things. Picking up new skills is going to allow you to pick up a skill in anything that you will choose to put your effort into. Hey, we've talked about on this show that, we have a distillery, and it's doing quite well, I think. I believe. I mean, product I feel is great. I drink it. A lot of we haven't had anyone return anything, so that's a positive, and we've had a lot of really good reviews. How did this happen? How did just overnight go from nothing to something really good? Dedicated effort. I've already acquired a bunch of skills throughout my life that I could very easily pick up a new one. And now I'm working on how can I do I'm sweating with some copper. I won't say I'm too good at that just yet, but I've only done it a few times. We'll find out if any of the joints hold up through some pressure and heat. But that's the thing I think you should all strive for. That's where I'm really trying to get all of the people that work for me now. I want them all to be William Shakespeare's. I want them to have tremendous amount of skills. They don't need to be masters of all these skills, but I want them to have enough knowledge of all of these skills that they can perform it well. So then when we come across those that just choose to be a specialist, they can lead them. That's the key. I'm trying to develop leaders. Leaders give more of themselves than they take. And it's extremely true. So let's recap here, back a little bit here. Like I said, I do not believe that many people have your best interest at heart. So you have to have your best interest at heart. You need to take ownership of where you want to be and then do it. So if you have to work that 40-hour work week or however much it is, and your employer's not giving you time on the job to professionally develop yourself, then you know that employer definitely doesn't have your best interest at heart. It's 100%. So that means you need to take your professional development into your own hands. So where Google does have it right then is you need to take 20% of your time and start acquiring new skills. So that means you have to figure out 8 hours during the week on acquiring skills. Plenty of places for you to go. You're in technology, there's cyber. EC Council has a pretty good deal going on. It's like, 3 grand for unlimited classes and training during the year, and certifications. LinkedIn Learning, a lot. There's a lot of places where you can develop some skills. Um, damn, I just said again. So focus on acquiring new skills, and not just skills for your career. Let's develop some life skills. Maybe pick up cooking. One of the things that I'm fascinated with outside of distilling and making beer is smoking meat. That's what I enjoy doing, here over the past couple of years. Um, and I don't like to use electric. I don't like to use electric for cooking. I want to use charcoal. I want that fluctuation of, oh, it got a little bit too hot. Now I'm gonna let it cool down. And oh, how can I keep that fire consistent? I like that process. Um, I don't know what other kind of little skills I'm gonna come up with. I'm hoping to get better at this whole podcasting. Maybe I will one day. But develop those skills. And remember, you have to take charge. Google's rule of 20 was really 120%, and you may have to do that for yourself. Now, if your employer's great and they're investing into you, like they're not like, hey, I want you to acquire more skills. They have a culture of promoting from within. And well, you might give them a hometown discount. It's not too much of a discount. That they are paying for your value that you are providing for the organization. And if they are, hey, you've got a great employer. And they exist. They absolutely exist. Find them, cherish them. Still don't necessarily stay there forever. I mean, if you want to, sure, go ahead. But I think you need to see the world. If we were to take a look at just breeding animals, we always bring in another bloodline. You are a bloodline to another employer. So if you've developed some good skills, you can go bring them to another employer, and they should pay you for that. But just be careful. Sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Now, getting back, exceptional leaders are going to invest the whole you, not just your professional world. I'm not saying they need to get to know you personally, but they want to make sure that you are invigorated when you're coming into the office or remote work environment, however it happens to be, and that you're able to kill it every day. So the only way that happens is to make sure you're getting a proper amount of satisfaction out of your personal life, which then leads to getting a great amount of work product. And exceptional leaders will care about that. Be William Shakespeare. Be a jack of all trades. I believe that is what is going to be the most beneficial for yourself and for your career. Because William Shakespeare was the original jack of all trades. And with that, I appreciate you all stopping in. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. I hope you get some good relaxation. You're invigorated for the work week coming up. Mondays are always my favorite day. It's another day to just start, killing it. Kill it for yourself and let others, benefit from you becoming the best version of yourself. Until next time, take care.